What's up, everyone? If you're new here, welcome to the channel where we cut through the marketing fluff and give you real-world drone advice. Today, we're settling the debate that's been raging in every drone forum for the past 2 months: DJI Air 3S versus the Mini 5 Pro. This isn't just another spec comparison video. I've spent 40 hours flying both these machines in extreme conditions, from mountain peaks and sub-zero temperatures to crowded urban environments where noise complaints are real. I've crashed them, I've pushed them to their limits, and I've spent way too much money on SD cards filling them with comparison footage. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which drone deserves your money. And more importantly, I'll give you a simple decision framework that takes less than 30 seconds to figure out your perfect match. But first, we need to talk about the elephant in the room that nobody else is addressing. Camera section. Let's start with the bomb that DJI dropped on their own product line. Both the Air 3S and the Mini 5 Pro pack the exact same 1-inch sensor behind that main 24mm lens. This is unprecedented. We're talking about identical image quality between a mini drone and DJI's mid-range flagship. Same dynamic range, same color science, same performance in low-light conditions. They both shoot 4K at 60 frames per second in HLG and D-Log-M, which means your color grading workflow stays consistent regardless of which drone you choose. For slow-motion junkies, both drones deliver buttery smooth 4K at 120 frames per second. And if you want to go full cinematic matrix mode, they'll both hit 1080p at 240 frames per second. On paper, this looks like a slam dunk for the Mini 5 Pro. Why would anyone pay $480 more for the same camera? Well, here's where DJI's strategy gets brilliant, and this is the part that most reviewers completely miss. The Air 3S has a dedicated 3x optical telephoto lens, and this changes absolutely everything about the type of shots you can create. I'm not talking about some digital zoom gimmick. This is a real, separate camera with its own sensor and optics. In real-world shooting scenarios, this telephoto lens gives you genuine background compression, the kind that makes your subject pop away from the environment in a way that's physically impossible with a wide-angle lens. You get that cinematic parallax effect when you're doing orbit shots that makes footage look like it came from a Hollywood production. The Mini 5 Pro tries to compete with a 2x digital zoom, marketed as 48mm med telemode, and to DJI's credit, they've optimized it incredibly well. You're not losing catastrophic amounts of quality compared to cropping and post-production. But here's the deal breaker. The Air 3S can shoot slow motion while using that 3x telephoto. The Mini 5 Pro cannot use its digital zoom in high frame rate modes. If you're shooting action sports, wildlife, or anything that requires slow motion with a tight frame, the Air 3S just ended the debate right there. But wait, because the Mini 5 Pro fires back with something the Air 3S can't touch: a rotating gimbal with 225 degrees of rotation. This little beast can spin its camera up to 225 degrees in the roll axis. This feature alone opens up shot possibilities that are completely impossible on the Air 3S. You can capture sideways tracking shots, create unique perspectives that make your footage instantly recognizable. And here's the kicker for content creators: true vertical shooting using the full sensor resolution with complete gimbal tilt control. The Air 3S forces you into a 2.7K crop mode for vertical content, which is better than just cropping in post, but it's still a compromise. If you're creating content for Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts, the Mini 5 Pro just became your best friend. This is what I mean when I say your use case determines everything. Keep watching because the altitude conversation is going to blow your mind. Size and portability. Let's talk about something that matters way more than people realize: how these drones fit into your actual life. The Air 3S weighs in at 724 grams, putting it firmly in the C1 category for EU regulations. The Mini 5 Pro sits at approximately 249.9 grams, though units typically weigh 252-253 grams, and qualifies as C0. Before your eyes glaze over at regulation talk, here's why this matters to you personally. In the European Union, and increasingly in other countries adopting similar standards, C0 drones can fly in areas where heavier drones are restricted or outright banned. We're talking about urban environments, closer proximity to people, and zones where you'd otherwise need special permits or licenses. If you travel internationally for your drone work or hobby, that 250-gram threshold is the difference between flying freely and navigating a nightmare of paperwork. The size difference is dramatic when you're actually packing these things. The Mini 5 Pro folds down small enough to fit in a jacket pocket. I've literally carried it in a small sling bag alongside my regular camera gear without even noticing the weight. The Air 3S demands its own dedicated dedicated space in your backpack. It's not uncomfortable to carry, but it's a commitment. If you're hiking into remote locations or traveling carry-on only, those extra centimeters and grams add up faster than you'd think. Here's something nobody talks about. I've crash-tested the Mini 5 Pro twice. Full-speed impacts into trees, and both times it walked away without a scratch. The Air 3S? I've been too terrified to deliberately crash it, because physics doesn't lie. A heavier object moving at the same speed carries more kinetic energy on impact. That extra weight that helps it fight wind also means more potential damage when things go wrong. Both drones have excellent obstacle avoidance, but mistakes happen, and replacement costs are real. From a pure aesthetic standpoint, the Air 3S looks more aggressive and professional. It has this angular, almost military design language that screams serious equipment. The Mini 5 Pro looks friendly and approachable. Neither is objectively better, but if you're doing commercial work where clients see your gear, perceptions matter. The bigger drone sometimes inspires more confidence from people writing checks. Flight performance. This is where we separate the marketing claims from reality, and I have some controversial opinions here. DJI rates both drones at 12 meters per second maximum wind resistance. On paper, they're equals. In the real world, that's complete nonsense, and I can prove it. I've flown both drones in coastal winds that were pushing the legal limits, and the experience is night and day different. The Air 3S sits stable in gusts that have the Mini 5 Pro working overtime to maintain position. You can hear it in the footage, you can see it in the gimbal corrections, and you can feel it in the precision of your control inputs. The laws of physics don't care about marketing specifications. A heavier drone with a larger frame has more inertia to resist wind deflection, period. This becomes critical when we talk about altitude capabilities. The Mini 5 Pro as a C0 drone maxes out at 120 meters altitude. You can upgrade it to C1 classification and push that to 500 meters, but you're still capped there. The Air 3S, 1,000 meters of altitude freedom. Before you say, but the legal limit is 120 meters, let me explain why this matters more than you think. When you're flying in mountainous terrain, the altitude limit isn't measured from sea level, it's measured from your takeoff point. If you're standing on a mountain at 800 meters elevation and you want to fly over a ridge that's another 300 meters higher, the Mini 5 Pro physically cannot make that flight even if you're staying within legal distance from the terrain. The Air 3S handles this scenario without breaking a sweat. I live and work in Norway, where mountains define the landscape, and this limitation would kill the Mini 5 Pro's usefulness for half my shooting locations. Battery life is solid on both platforms, but there are nuances worth understanding. The Mini 5 Pro gets approximately 36 minutes with standard batteries and can push up to 52 minutes with the larger Plus batteries. The Air 3S is rated for 45 minutes max flight time. In real-world conditions, flying aggressively with full camera operation, you're looking at 20 to 25 minutes of practical flight time on both drones before you need to head back. The difference is that the Air 3S gives you more confidence to fly further from your home point because of that larger battery capacity buffer. With the Mini 5 Pro, especially with standard batteries, you're constantly doing mental math about return, flight time. Neither drone will leave you stranded if you pay attention to warnings, but peace of mind has value. Here's a factor that matters more in residential areas than people admit: noise signature. The Mini 5 Pro is noticeably quieter because of its smaller propellers and lower mass. If you're flying in neighborhoods, near outdoor events, or anywhere that people might complain, that reduced noise profile means you draw less attention and generate fewer negative reactions. The Air 3S has that distinct drone buzz that announces its presence. Both drones are loud if you're directly underneath them, but from a distance, the Mini 5 Pro blends into background noise much more effectively. Smart Features' obstacle avoidance technology on both these drones is genuinely impressive, and for the most part, they're evenly matched. Both feature omnidirectional sensors and that front-facing LiDAR system that helps with low-light detection. Quick clarification, because I see this confusion everywhere. The Mini 5 Pro does not have two LiDAR sensors up front. That second element you see is purely aesthetic design. It's there to balance the visual symmetry, nothing more. Active track performance between these two drones is remarkably similar in most situations. I've tested them both tracking runners, cyclists, cars, and even my overly energetic dog. They both lock on reliably and maintain subject focus through moderate complexity scenarios. However, the Mini 5 Pro does have some exclusive tracking modes specifically designed for cycling and skiing that the Air 3S currently lacks. DJI could theoretically add these via firmware update. But as of right now, if you're specifically focused on winter sports or cycling content, the Mini 5 Pro has a legitimate advantage. That said, I need to give you a reality check about active track on both platforms. Do not trust it blindly, especially when the drone is tracking sideways or backing up. I learned this lesson the hard way during my Mini 5 Pro testing when it decided a tree branch was less important than maintaining frame composition. The crash didn't damage the drone, but it definitely damaged my confidence. These systems are incredible aids, but they're not foolproof autopilot systems. Your eyes and your thumbs on the sticks are still the primary safety system. The Mini 5 Pro introduces some quality-of-life features that honestly should be standard across the entire DJI lineup. The drone powers on automatically when you unfold the arms. It also activates when you plug in the battery. These sound like minor conveniences, but when you're setting up quickly to catch golden hour light or responding to a fleeting moment, those saved seconds matter. The Air 3S requires the traditional button press sequence, which is fine but feels dated once you've experienced the automatic approach. Dynamic Home Point is another Mini 5 Pro exclusive feature that's brilliant for mobile shooting scenarios. Instead of returning to your original takeoff location when you hit return to home, the drone tracks your controller position and comes back to wherever you're currently standing. If you're shooting while hiking, driving, or moving through an environment, this feature transforms the return to home function from a limitation into a useful tool. The Air 3S uses the traditional fixed home point system, which works perfectly fine but requires more manual management if you're mobile. Price analysis. Let's cut straight to the number that's probably driving your decision more than any technical specification. The Mini 5 Pro with the Fly. More combo costs approximately $929 to $1,039, depending on the controller, RCN3 or RC2. The Air 3S with the Fly More combo will set you back around $1,399 to $1,599. That's a $400 to $500 difference, which isn't pocket change for most people. But here's what that price gap actually represents. When you break it down feature by feature, you're paying extra for that dedicated 70mm telephoto camera system with 3x optical zoom, which is genuinely useful if your shooting style benefits from it. You're buying superior wind resistance and stability, which has real value depending on your flying environments. You're getting that extended altitude range that might be critical or completely irrelevant based on your geography, and you're investing in a larger, more robust platform that inspires confidence in challenging conditions. Flip that perspective and look at what you're getting by saving $400 to $500 with the Mini 5 Pro. You're gaining a rotating gimbal that opens creative possibilities impossible on the Air 3S. You're getting superior vertical content capabilities that directly translate to better social media performance. You're buying extreme portability that makes the drone more likely to actually be with you when opportunities arise. And critically, you're keeping $400 to $500 in your pocket that could go toward additional batteries, ND filters, insurance, or literally any other aspect of your creative toolkit. Neither drone is overpriced for what it delivers. This isn't a situation where one is clearly a better value. The question is, which set of features aligns with how you actually use a drone? And that's impossible to answer without honest self-reflection about your needs versus your wants. The verdict. We've covered a lot of ground in the last 9 minutes. And if your head is spinning trying to process all these trade-offs, I'm about to make this simple. I'm going to give you my personal choice, explain exactly why I made that decision, and then give you a framework to determine your own answer in about 30 seconds. For my specific needs and shooting style, I choose the Air 3S, and it's not even close. I live in Norway where mountain terrain and wind are constants, not exceptions. That 1,000-meter altitude ceiling and superior wind resistance aren't luxury features for me. They're requirements. The 70mm telephoto lens with 3x optical zoom has become essential to my creative workflow. I love getting tight on subjects. I love the compression for landscape work, and the ability to shoot slow motion with that telephoto is something I use in almost every project. I don't produce vertical content regularly. My primary platforms are YouTube and client work that's delivered in traditional aspect ratios. This makes the Mini 5 Pro's rotating gimbal less valuable to me personally, even though I acknowledge it's an incredible feature. If my content strategy changes and I start prioritizing short-form vertical content, this calculation might shift. But for right now, the Air 3S fits my workflow perfectly. But here's the critical part. I genuinely believe that for most of you watching this video, the Mini 5 Pro is probably the smarter choice. Let me explain why. The price difference of $400 to $500 is substantial. If you're a hobbyist or you're just starting in aerial content creation, that money has better uses elsewhere in your kit. The portability factor means you're more likely to have the drone with you, which means you're more likely to capture footage, which means you're more likely to improve as a pilot and creator. If you're building a social media presence, that vertical shooting capability is worth its weight in gold. The algorithm favors vertical content across almost every platform that matters right now. The rotating gimbal gives you signature shots that help you stand out in an incredibly crowded space. And let's be honest, the Mini 5 Pro is simply more fun to fly because it's less intimidating and easier to transport. Here's your 30-second decision framework. Choose the Air 3S if you regularly fly in windy conditions, if you shoot in mountainous terrain where altitude matters, if the telephoto lens matches your creative style, or if you do commercial work where the more professional appearance matters to clients. Choose the Mini 5 Pro if you create vertical content for social media, if portability is a priority because you travel frequently, if you're working within a tighter budget, or if you want those unique creative options that come with the rotating gimbal. There's no wrong answer here. Both drones are exceptional pieces of technology that will serve you well if you choose based on actual needs rather than spec sheet bragging rights. If this video helped you make your decision, smash that like button and subscribe because I've got real-world flight tests, cinematic tutorials, and drone reviews coming every single week. Drop a comment below and tell me which drone you're choosing and why. I read every single comment, and I'd love to hear your reasoning. Next week, I'm releasing my ultimate drone cinematography guide that works with both these drones and will instantly level up your footage quality. You don't want to miss that one. Until then, fly safe, fly legal, and I'll see you in the next video.